Hello, everybody. Hopefully, you can hear me. And hopefully, you can hear the soothing sounds in the background. This many brave and strong and fearless grown-up. Peter, hello. How are you going? How are you going today? Exiled Faye, also, thank you for the resub. 24 months. Peter, 35 months on a 35-month streak. Holy shit. We also got Rai here, resubbed before I even went live. Twiddle Thumbs waiting. Thank you so much, Rai, for the sub. Appreciate the heck out of you. What is happening? A hype train. A hype train just started. Oh my goodness. Almighty Jellyfish. Thank you so much for using your Prime sub here. You can use that anywhere. You chose to use it here. Appreciate the heck out of you. How's it going, everybody? I am also sleepy, but okay. Although it's the opposite side of the day for me, so... let me just make sure. I know my, my craft cam is a little small today. But that's because it was too much of a pain to change it. We're gonna get on with Ghost Pepper here. I'm gonna join a Discord call with him and attempt to knock with him. So let's see how it goes.
Macaulay, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Hello.
Hello.
How do I knock if
Without you? Oh.
I don't
go on to.
Why would I want to know how to live without you? I don't want to live without you. Oh my God.
It's a song.
Scaring me over here. All right, I go on to Twitch.
Yeah, you go on to Twitch, and then there should be an option to. Hey, Taryn. There should be an option to knock on my stream.
Knock.
Yeah, there we go.
Start streaming together.
Accept. And it's gonna open up a voice chat. Do not unmute yourself on this voice chat.
Okay.
Like I said, do not unmute yourself to Woof, and then he immediately unmuted, and then he was like, "Why is there an echo?"
Okay.
And we're good. It should be set up.
Okay, so I should be able to see people in your chat, in my chat, on OBS?
Chat. Yeah. Oh my God, you have a hype train already.
I do. I got a bunch of resubs this morning.
Nice.
Ghost Pepper, thank you for 38 months. Hell yeah. I don't know that I see...
Chat working?
I don't see people's chatting appearing. I guess I can just do a test. I don't see it.
Can enable shared chat during a stream together session. Shared chat is fun. Okay, but there's no settings.
Setting
That's
session.
for browser sources.
I don't see anything. I mean, the whole point was, hey, Taryn, how's it going? We're trying to get it so that everybody can see the chat, shared chat. You must be live in order to enable shared chat. I am live.
You are live.
Start sharing chat. Aha!
Where did you see that?
It just appeared magically. It said it wasn't available, and then it appeared to be available, and I just hit the button as soon as it became... Literally was grayed out, and then ungrayed out. So you were not insane. It literally was not working 3 seconds ago.
So weird.
Okay. Alright. You can indeed type in both.
Thank you for the hydrates pie.
So can I close my Twitch window, or do I have to... I can keep the shared one open, but do I have to leave your stream open?
No.
Okay. If that broke everything, it's Ghost Pepper's fault. Alright. right. It should still be working. Oh, nice. Oh, Bard, thank you so much for giving me your last little bit of biddies. Appreciate the heck out of it. So much has been happening. Okay, so we should still see...
So do you have your camera on in the, voice chat?
No. Do you want me to share my camera?
Yeah, because, yeah, I told you I was gonna make, like, a little crafting... Like,
oh, it even shows your question of the day in my chat now.
Yeah.
Okay. It's gonna be like my whole stream setup though, because I can't share just my camera.
That's okay. I can do, like... It shares most things between the two chats. It doesn't share channel points redeems, because obviously Meg
right.
and I have different channel points. It also doesn't share notifications.
I also got some bits from Bruce. Thank you so much, Bruce.
Yeah.
And how you doing, my friend?
Yeah. So things that are to the specific stream are not shared.
Also, Bruce resubbed while I was not streaming. So, Bruce, thank you so much. I saw your resub notification in here.
Thank you for the hydrate, right?
When I popped in the other day. I think I've caught up on everything. We do have a hype train going on. Pie! How's it going? I'm gonna do those hydrates in a minute. Let me just catch up on chat. Peter, I hope you're doing well as the holidays wind down. Pie, I hope you're also doing well.
Yes.
Supportive husband? Heck yeah.
Who?
Bard said, supportive husbando, about you.
Oh, I don't see that.
That was before we got the shared chat working.
Oh.
It was in response to your resub. I'm catching up on old messages. Taryn, how's it going? How was your Christmas? I got so many hydrates to do.
Holidays?
We missed you too, Taryn. I missed all of y'all.
This here.
Yeah, you have to switch back and forth to drown us both, Pie.
Yep. Yep. No
Got some
free hydrates here.
Got some good news in my email box today, which is very exciting. Ooh, are you able to share, Peter, or does it have to stay a secret for now? Unlocking jokers in Balatro, so I can try and do endless runs. I think the guy on the plane beside me on the way home was playing that game.
He was, yeah, he was playing it on Switch.
In fairness to him, we were stuck with a maintenance issue, so...
I kind of, like, my brother was playing the Switch, and it's like, I've never thought of the Switch as a mobile gaming console. Like, obviously it is, right? But I just didn't think of it that way. So
yeah, same.
I'm like, oh my god, I should have brought this with me.
Alright, I've got 5 hydrates to do. A 1. A 2.
What's the secret? What's the secret, Peter? Got some good news in my email. Oh, okay. Ooh.
And a 5. 5 hydrates. Ooh, and I got... Let's see... Ooh, I got a super cute emote. Thanks for the hype train, you guys. What a way to welcome me back. Christmas was good. Anniversary was better.
I should have gotten an emote for it, too.
You should have. It'll be... It might not show up on your OBS, though, because it's from my chat.
Yeah.
Just check your hype emotes. It might just go in there.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Taryn, what number anniversary was it? Let us know. We had a good Christmas as well. Pie, already? It's the first stream of the year and you already want me to say the thing? Already? 14! mean, Taryn, that's amazing. Thing is, I know Pi is gonna be like, yes, please say it, and then he's instantly gonna be like, why does Stryker hate me?
It might be one of these. I didn't get the little, like, reward chest to open it and see what it is, but those are 2 hype emotes that I don't recognize.
Yeah, well, and you would have gotten one last night.
I did get one last night. That was this one.
I would never say why you hate me. All right, Pi, are you ready? Have you prepared yourself for me to say the thing to you? Because it's gonna happen. All right, Pi. Fuck you and shut up.
Okay,
Blur, welcome in.
Got him.
Oh yeah, I need to do the aggressively receive Stryker's love one as well.
Hmm.
Where did I fit this?
Kali, remind me, it's Mazur and Foodle that are on the run, right? I'm doing D&D.
Yes, it is.
Today. In fact, I should get my timers set up.
We are going to be crafting. We're just if you guys notice me like fiddling with this, these are the beads that we've already done. So I'm just very carefully slipping the hoop between the rows of beads so that I'm not crunching any of my beads in the ring while we're working. And I don't usually pop it in and out of the hoop so much, but I've been not leaving it in the hoop because I don't want to crush any of this very careful beadwork that I've been doing. Pi is going to regret that when they eventually do say that. Why are you so rude to me in front of Ghost? Pi, I have to do what the points redeems tell me to do.
Yeah.
Cauliflumps! Fuck you and shut up.
How could you say that to Kali?
He redeemed it.
After he accidentally drugged himself yesterday.
After he accidentally drugged it. For anyone who didn't attend Winds of Chaos last night, Kali came on the chat and was so out of it. And I was like, what happened? You were fine earlier in the day. We hung out. We played GeoGuessr. And he was like, I accidentally took a Benadryl. I was like, what?
Alright, chat. Where do I want to do my D&D planning? By the fireplace, by the window, by the desk, or...
Vinyl was so disappointed in me.
So
Aww.
funny. That's so funny.
I did ask if Kali was unsupervised during the accidental Benadryl incident, and he said that he indeed was unsupervised. I'm assuming it was just a case of the boxes looked the same and you just didn't read it until after.
So, where should I do my planning? Oh, it's just /poll.
I am sitting by my bay window with my waxolotl. We've got rain and a snowy background. Unsupervised Kali is dangerous, 100%.
Window.
Taryn said, I got a super awesome present. Eyebrows or the promise of a super awesome present. Taryn, are you currently looking at the screen right now? Because
2-minute poll, chat.
if you are, let me know because I can maybe give you a secondary preview. Hang on.
Take a look at our sphere.
Happen to have a box that's just off camera here.
Middle player has been acting up lately, skipping beats whenever I'm nearby. Okay.
Ta-da! It just arrived yesterday. I'm planning on getting this beautifully signed and packed up and ready to go out to the post office tomorrow morning, hopefully. It is really gorgeous. I got to see, my first preview of it was when we went to, you can see the spine here as well. We went to Ghost Pepper's parents for Christmas, and she had ordered a copy. It's kind of funny. It does say manufactured in Ashenson, Alberta. I don't know if you can see it there. Or Ashton.
Enjoy your lurk.
Because it prints it at the closest one to me. And Bruce, if you are watching, I also have a special preview for you. Look at this. So those will hopefully be getting to the post office tomorrow. These are also just absolutely, Molly gets full credit for these. These are just absolutely, absolutely gorgeous. And these will be going to our good friend Bruce Campbell Soup. So there we go.
Alright, poll ended, and there were no votes. Okay.
I vote for the fireplace because it's the most cozy.
Well, that'll have to be it.
They're also very, because I do the matte finish, they're very soft. So they don't feel like leather, obviously, but they're very soft to the touch. And they don't get, the reason I don't do the glossy is because they get super fingerprinty.
I turned my screen upside down.
Oh no! While you're trying to get it set up.
Like purple axolotl pet.
That book is a very thick boy. 100%.
A waxolotl? Is that what it's called?
Waxolotl, that's the one I have. I love the Waxolotl. He's such a cutie.
I got him in the purple skin.
Rai likes the Shadow the Hedgehog. I have the little eclair one with the white frosting. Rai likes the Hedgehog Shadow version. I like that one too.
This one I have.
I just mindlessly grabbed my pill, the wrong one in this case, while getting my lunch. Oh no! See, I'm like paranoid about taking pills. I always check the bottle even if I know it's the right one.
Yeah.
Exiled Faye, how's it going?
What do I hear an echo?
I don't hear an echo.
Did you unmute yourself on the thing?
No, I haven't touched the thing. You specifically told me not to unmute. Why would I unmute?
Yeah, you're not listening through your speakers, are you?
No, I don't hear an echo, and I don't hear an echo.
Okay. Oh no, it was Pi messing with me.
Oh
Jesus.
God.
Pi.
Only have 3 left to unlock. Nice. Just work. I hope work is going smoothly.
I like these rules for a chase. I like that. Okay.
Alright. We're just pulling the canvas gently taut here. And I am tightening the ring. Want it to be as tight as possible. Because we don't want anything to slide around. And I was going to start on the wing, but I think we're going to do the tail first. Just because I'm trying to avoid putting the hoop over beads as much as possible. We're going to do the tail bit, and then we're going to switch to a smaller hoop and work on the wing. What's something fun or exciting you've been working on or getting into lately? I have been trying to plan a brand new novel series that is standalone, just a trilogy, which is something I've not done in a long time, just written a single trilogy that doesn't... I mean, it does relate to other things, but isn't part of another series, and it's challenging but fun. The timing for when the book gets here might be perfect for when I finish what I'm currently reading. Heck yeah! It might be a tiny bit slow because Canada Post is still a little bit backed up. But I'm gonna get it out as quickly as I can. Kiki, hello! Blur, what you working on today? Are you arting? What do you color code with Sharpies, Rai? And this is our little guide, although we don't necessarily need it. So we're doing the tail, which I believe gets done in purple.
What about me? What about me?
Oh, your meds. That makes so much sense. Yeah, I have a little... I don't know if you guys can see this, but I had...
responding to the posts in your chat. That's hilarious.
Did he actually? Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make sure to ghost over your meds for you. Oh my god. So this is what I was using when I was on my thyroid medication, and it's color-coded by day, and then it has a morning and night slot. And then I would just refill it at the end of each day and rotate it so that the day that I needed was at the top. I'm not currently on medication, so I'm not currently using this, but I found this to be very helpful. And then if I went somewhere, I could just pick this up and bring it with me. Or if I just needed my day medication, I could just pull that out and take it with me for the day. So it was very, very helpful. Helpful? Hopefully on Wednesday. Next Wednesday. I'm hoping to stream Wednesday and Thursday. I might have to dodge a health thing this upcoming week. So bear with me if streams are a little wonky. If I can't do Wednesday and Thursday, I'll try to do Thursday and Friday. But I'm hoping to resume regular work and regular streams this coming week. Wednesday, my dude. Bart has the same pill case as me. Currently cutting my nails since they're getting a little long. Oh, I feel you. I just had to file mine all down.
Oh, Moose Tracks ice cream, hell yeah.
Off to get vinyl and some Moose Tracks. Hell yeah. Collie, we love you. Thanks for stopping by. Give vinyl our love as well.
Vermintide makes me cry for different reasons.
She said Elden Ring makes her cry.
I know. She also said I've never played Vermintide.
Oh, okay. Can I mute up and pop into another friend's stream? No worries, Taryn. It was good to see you. And I hope to see you next week.
Sessions -1.
Alright.
Session -1?
Like session zero?
I know what session 0 is. I don't know what session -1 is, but that's awesome.
Alright, and we're gonna use dark purple for this.
What's the question of the day, Bard? Is that when you said, "What about you"?
Yeah, because I said I'm working on a new novel project.
I didn't know what you were asking me, Bard. I must have missed it.
That is not a full strand. Let's start with a full strand.
How is that different? I'm just curious, right? How is it different from session 0? Because I think that goes into session 0 for me. So I'm just curious what you do in session 0 then. What's something fun or exciting you've been working on or getting into lately? Well, I've enjoyed getting back into Guild Wars 2 again. But that's not terribly exciting. I don't think that's terribly exciting. Let me think. I enjoy curling with some of the some of my teacher friends. We have a little men's team going on. We're extremely bad. we're like near the bottom of the league. Probably like probably like halfway down the league table. But it's like the absolute novice amateur league, so we don't care. We do it for the wings at the end. That's starting up again on the 15th, so next Wednesday. So that'll be nice and fun to get into.
Trying to decide if I want to tackle the Smut, the long-form romance, or the Highlander AU today. What sparks the most joy in you, Exiled Fae? All three have been giving me the same amount of grief, but which one gives you the most joy?
I think, Bard, I've been working on.
Oh no! Don't get nodded.
Working on my own RPG rule system lately. I don't know if I'll ever use it for anything like on Twitch, but I've been finding that now that I've done D&D for a while again, like I took a break from D&D for a while through 4th edition and almost all of 5th edition. Kind of never played D&D too much. And now that I played a whole bunch of 5th edition again, you know, I think it's the most solid edition of Dungeons and Dragons there's ever been. But it also begins to show some of the classic problems with D&D, which is where it's not one set of rules, it's several sets of rules to be applied in different circumstances, and they don't neatly interlock with each other, although 5th edition has done more than any other edition to try to address that problem. And it also takes too damn long. Like, D&D is just too long, too slow, too cumbersome. It takes too much time and mental processing power, especially if you're a spellcaster. So I've been working on a rule system that's meant to keep some of the strategic and tactical kind of aspects of D&D while making it quicker.
Need to put a beat on there.
Ultimate goal is if a turn is supposed to take 6 to 10 seconds in game, then, you know, my personal goal for what I'm trying to build is something where it takes you 6 to 10 seconds to take your turn. I don't know if I'm going to meet that, but that's the goal anyway. So that's kind of what I've been getting into. That's my personal project.
Having short nails feels so weird after having long nails. It does! It's gonna take a while to get used to not having nails. Exiled Fate also says, complicated question, it's all different kinds of joy, and there's also a lot of contamination from expectations of the readers, so I'm like, which one do they want more? And that shouldn't be my focus. Which one do you want more, Exiled Fae? If they weren't giving you grief, which is the one that you would be the most excited to work on? If you could snap your fingers and make the grief go away, which one draws your attention the most? I am currently attempting to find beads that are roughly the same size for anyone who wonders what I'm doing right now, because I don't want them to be all different sizes. So before I pick the first one, I'm trying to see if I can find enough beads of roughly the same shape. Seed beads do not come in a uniform shape, so you gotta be a little bit selective. Yes, it's like a blue purple. It's very pretty. I'll hold them up again here in a second. And I'll show you. I just gotta get this thread anchored, which is why I'm not really. I'm
Bard Owl,
using
do I seem like the kind of person who would play a game called Thirsty Sword Lesbians?
I've heard it's really good, actually.
That's the correct answer. Thank you. Yes, I will. Absolutely. I am indeed the kind of person who would play a game like that. I told Peter that
Oops.
I would play the the top 10 community chosen games off of the anti-woke games list.
The top 10 gayest games, I believe, was how it was put.
Games, yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. We've got one single bead on there.
If somebody
and they are very pretty. As long as they confirm to Twitch OS, they look a lot more blue on the camera. They're a bit more purple in person. But they're very, very pretty.
Yeah, I'm not getting my account banned from Twitch over it, but won't make you have a dragon dildo in your inventory, I promise. Nobody made anybody do that. That's something that Wolf chose to do himself. That was, oh my god.
Yes, Bard, I would love to play Thirsty Sword Lesbians with you. And yes, we did say sword lesbians. Is it the sword that's thirsty or the lesbians? Yes. Yeah, I also want a dragon dildo. I want a tentacle dildo in my inventory, personally. You can get those from Naughty Dragon. Wink, wink. Ghost just quietly disconnecting the shared streaming now. He's just like, we're done talking to my wife now.
Are you talking about Willow's wands?
No, I'm talking about real life.
Oh.
Wrong company. Oh, I get it mixed up with Willow's. Yeah. I keep getting it mixed up with Willow's wands. In the real world, I guess it's Bad Dragon. You can get, for reals, tentacle dildos.
I remember a time when Collie's chat was trying to get his
and he didn't know what it was.
Bad Dragon.
Yeah.
They were trying to get him to like open up the webpage and take a look at it on stream.
And he was like, "What's that?" And I was like,
yeah,
"Collie, no.
Don't do it."
Listen, I might have said the wrong thing, but y'all know what I meant.
I also want to try out sometime. There's a pro wrestling TTRPG, where it's not only like the stuff in the ring, but it's also like giving the interviews outside of the ring that give you power ups and things like that. I really want to try that one. That sounds kind of cool.
I would love to do like an out of character, in character interview where like somebody interviewed my role playing characters. That would be so amazing.
These look like good rules for a chase.
You can get a Geralt one? Nice. I do like the... I think I'm more enamored by these are not for reals penises. They are fake made up penises than I am more so with like, here's a fantasy person's penis. But that is funny that exists. Ghost is like, why did I agree to have a joint stream with my wife?
That is kind of weird.
Why ever in the world did I agree to do this? It's got his pendant chain wrapped around the balls. That's hilarious to me.
Question is, does 2-minute tabletop have maps that are appropriate?
Given the other half of this conversation, my mind is completely in the gutter, and I'm gonna go with no, they don't have smut maps on 2-minute tabletop.
No, that's not what I'm looking for. Not looking for smut maps today.
From the makers of Bad Santa, Bad Teacher, Bad Grandpa, Bad Dragon. Creative one, hello, hello. I'm going to do one more bead and then I'm going to pop AFK to reheat my coffee, but I'm not going to go into BRB mode because I'm going to leave you guys with Ghost Pepper. Okay, so if...
Bard, that's a very kind offer, but no thank you.
If Ghost Pepper doesn't behave, I can make you a map-shaped dick. What about a dick-shaped map, Bard?
Of the two of us, I'm not the one who is at risk of not behaving.
That's it. I finally thought of something cursed enough that I can get Bard to draw for me a dick-shaped map. Oh, these beads that are going to be the death of me.
Right, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt that in the least. Okay, so there are plenty of urban chase maps.
A little bit more
having an urban chase
purple.
We're in the wilderness.
There is a company that has a dick-shaped whiskey bottle. Oh, we gotta get one of those for Ghost.
No, thank you.
How can I import that, Rai?
First of all, it's a dead giveaway that the whiskey inside is probably not going to be that great.
Ghost is like, first of all, no thank you. Second of all, no thank you. What if Rai can confirm that it's a good whiskey? Rai, have you tried the dick whiskey?
Usually, but not always. That's a pretty strong indicator.
Slightly smaller than the other two.
I sent you the bottle they use on Amazon. Okay. Let me take a look. Oh, he did not send it to me. He must have sent
it to me. Yes, send me the dick-shaped things.
You can feel free not to send it to me.
That's hilarious, Rai. Oh, it's a decanter.
Oh,
Penis whiskey decanter bottle with 2 whiskey glasses that are shaped like balls.
Oh, okay, that's different. That's different.
I love this so much.
That is different. Usually I find when there's like a novelty whiskey, and Rai will either agree with me or disagree with this. But usually like a novelty whiskey or a brand deal whiskey is usually not an indicator of high quality. Like,
have you tried the dick whiskey?
Product
yes.
And upping the price.
All right, we've got 3 beads done.
That's okay.
That last one was slightly smaller, but that's okay. Alright, I'm just gonna get ready for the next bead, and I'm gonna go reheat. Woof! My dear, you're just in time. We were talking about dick-shaped whiskey bottles, and other dick-shaped things. Yeah, I feel like there's 2 different vibes going on here. Ghost is trying to have a serious conversation about actual D&D planning, and we're all just talking about dicks.
Nope. Not trying to have a serious conversation whatsoever. Your thing. What is that, a hydrate? Thank you.
I will hydrate as soon as I get back with hot coffee.
Thank you, Pie.
Ghost is temporarily in charge.
I'm not the way to go for this. I'm thinking maybe theater of the mind is the way to go. Bard, that's a serious threat. Everyone will behave or there will be a spanking. Unless you want a spanking, then spanking will be withheld. Oh dear. This looks like a fun map that's gonna kill Wolf's computer when he tries to load it and roll 20. Maybe we'll go with that. Yeah, it is. Thank you. Scars? Oh my god. You know what? I read the first Witcher book and a little bit of the second, and basically all of the Geralt character comes from the video games. I'm just gonna say that. Like, everything, when you picture Geralt of Rivia in your mind, basically zero of it comes from the books. It's really funny. Like, you play the video games and it's like, Geralt is this serious taciturn, like, he doesn't talk much, he just grunts a lot, right? Yeah, in the show.
Thank you for the resub, my dear. Appreciate you.
The show is obviously, like, it's meant to be based on the books, but the Geralt in the show is 100% the Geralt from the video games. Like, 100%. The first book, he's like... I read the first 7 Witcher books. Nice.
Wolf, is this another new emote? Ah, it's so cute! There's a wolf hug now.
I'm not gonna say that they're necessarily bad books. They weren't for me. But, you know, like, this whole idea where Geralt, most of his responses are like, ugh, right? The first book is a whole chapter of Geralt endlessly streaming, talking to a woman that he just had sex with about his feelings, about what's going on in his life, about his insecurities.
His feelings.
Yeah, and like there's not even any like difference between dialogue and narration. It's 100% just his monologue, stream of consciousness coming out, and the woman that he's with is so bored by it that she's fallen asleep. You realize at the end of it. So it's like it's like,
yeah, Ghost didn't read very far into it either.
I read the whole first one.
Oh, did you? Okay, because I remember you kind of gave up on the series because you were like, eh.
No, the second one I read the prologue to, and it was way too main character for me, and I just put it away. Like, I cannot. For me, I'm not a main character worshiper kind of person in what I read.
Like, a character needs to be interesting in some way other than just because they're the main character.
Yeah, and the whole world can't revolve around the main character. Right?
Yes.
It was one reason why I didn't. I didn't like In the Name of the Wind, the Patrick Rothfuss book. And I know that among fantasy readers, that's like sacrilege. I didn't like that because the main character was just the center of the universe. He was like Jesus Christ, basically. His you hated that too? Okay, Rai and Wolf. Okay. He's not a bad writer. Like, honestly, Patrick Rothfuss, like, no hate. He's not a bad writer. But the main character in The Name of the Wind is just like,
Bart
he's
sent
got
me a picture.
his companion, who's like, you know, anytime someone's like,
oh, nice.
Story, and is like, but is he really that great? His companion is like, no, he's hiding a deep dark secret from you, and it's really tragic. And the whole book is about him growing up and coming of age, and every conflict that's in his life is because somebody else has unfairly wronged him. So he has no kind of complications or depth or anything like that himself. Like, he's the smartest and the most capable and the strongest and just the bestest all around.
The bestest.
Any sort of conflict in the book is of people being jealous or envious of him or wronging him because he's just too good for them and they want to bring him down a peg or something like that.
See, that doesn't sound like an interesting character to me at all.
Of it, Rai? So that's why I couldn't get into it. The world building was really cool. Some of the other characters are really cool. But I found what's his name? Kavoth. I just found him. I couldn't accept him. You know what I mean?
Bard, the pendant just makes me laugh. I don't know who decided that was sexy, but sure.
Yeah. I like Yaskier a lot in the Witcher show. Actually, what
I like Yaskier a lot too.
I don't even remember what my opinion of the second or what's the. Like,
we really liked season 2, but we didn't really like season 3. Was our
and I didn't like season 1 very much.
No, the twist in season 1 was very silly, but we got really into it in season 2 and we got super excited, and then we watched season 3 and we were kind of like, I don't see where this is going anymore.
Yeah. I got kind of frustrated with season 1 because there were some people who like really loved it. And it's fine if you love it, but they're like, if you don't like it, it's just because you like lowbrow media and storytelling.
You don't understand
it's
art.
Too sophisticated for you.
Not everything needs to have a twist, and having the twist that they had in the first season didn't make any sense.
Yeah. Screams that is so
I like that too, Bard.
It screams that it's written by someone who grew up in the 80s as a nerd who was bullied and internalized instead of working on themselves. It actually does, kind of. I don't want.
No worries, Bard. Thank you for hanging out. We appreciate you.
I don't know what his personal story is, but yeah, it definitely. There's like, oh, see you, Bard. Take care.
Yeah, but season 2 was the only really interesting season of the show. Season 3, it was just kind of like everything that they've done so far didn't matter. So where is the story even going?
Yeah.
I hate it when... So, this is a personal gripe. Peter's getting a free hot take if he's here. I hate it when they erase, like when they do a bunch of development to the characters in the world and then they erase it and just reset everything back to basically where it was in some fashion. Yeah. And that was my big gripe with The Last Jedi as well, was it felt like a massive just kind of reset button, and it just kind of ignored everything that had come before it. I hate that. Like, I want to see the results of people's choices, and I want to see like the consequences of people's actions. And so if something is just like a hard reset, it's a massive turnoff for me. And that's what season 3 of The Witcher felt like to me. Was we did a bunch of stuff, we put all of these characters going in a certain direction, but none of it mattered because now everything is basically back to where it was at the start.
Yeah.
So it's like, why did I invest all this time in like 2 seasons of show in order to just get a hard reset? Like, why is that what we decided to do?
I don't even want to think about Game of Thrones. Like, I have such frustration for Weiss and Benioff.
That's why I won't watch Three Body Problem, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Like, a lot of people, like, yeah, George R. R. Martin, he deserves his fair share of the blame for it. But they're good showrunners. They've proven themselves to be good showrunners.
If they have source material to work off of.
When it comes to cinematography, when it comes to character dialogue, but when it comes to carrying a story through to fruition, no.
I feel like they're only as good as their source material is the thing.
Yeah. Like, as soon as they ran out of source material, and you can say like, well, they had Martin's notes. It's like, but those are just his notes. You know, like they're not fully fleshed out. Like, it's just his author notes, which is not the same as having actual finished source material.
Well, and you can really tell that they suffered for like.
And from the moment the novels ended, regardless of what the source material says, like there are things that they did in that show that he could not possibly have put in his notes. You know, like there are characters that they killed off that weren't dead in the novels at that point, right? And then literally they're like, well, we have too many characters in this show, so let's pack them all in to a church and explode it.
Spoilers.
Spoilers for a show that by now is like, what, 10 years old or whatever.
Listen, after seeing the end of Game of Thrones, I feel very justified in waiting until the last season was coming out and then just binge watching the whole thing in one great go and not spending 10 years of my life on it, because really, I got to see the whole show without feeling like I wasted my life on it. If I had spent 10 years following that show the way I know a lot of people did, and that was the ending, I would have been fucking furious.
That's the other thing, and this is not you, Megan, right? This is not you. But there were, when it turned out to be bad at the end, there were all these people who came out and they were like super smug, and they were like, I knew that this show that I know nothing about was going to be bad, so I never started watching it in the first place. Suckers. It's like, what? You did not know.
I just wasn't interested in it.
Yeah. That's different. That's not the same.
Yeah. No, I know you're not talking about me.
Yeah.
But George R. R. Martin has gotten, like, all bitter now about letting people adapt his work, and he's, like, super hardcore about... Like, he's not even working on Game of Thrones right now because he's too busy adapting a bunch of his other stuff.
Well, I think it's... feeling it's never getting finished.
That was the main reason why I didn't watch the show / read the books, was because I've been burned so many times before with series that, like, just never, that the author starts and just never finishes, that I was just kind of like, unless and until he finishes them, I'm not going to engage with them. And then when they finished the show, I was like, okay, there's a finished version of this story. I'll engage with the finished version of it, because it's gonna exist in a definitive form. So I was like,
well, this is where Rai, I think Martin is showing a little bit of a lack of intestinal fortitude. Is that, like, so what if they took his author notes and the ending of the show bombed, and that's the ending that he had planned for the novel series? That ending, if written competently, would play just fine. Like, they've set up for the possibility of, you know, spoiler alert, Daenerys' heel turn, and all of that. Early, like, from the very beginning of the book series, they set up for that.
But they also clearly didn't understand the heel turn, because when they did the interviews afterwards, they were like, oh, well, she didn't have an emotional reaction to her brother getting killed, so that clearly shows that she was incompetent, like, that she was like that all along. And it's like, no, that's not how... He abused the hell out of her. Yeah.
So, and that's the thing, right? Is it's a perfectly fine ending. It's the way that it was handled.
Yeah.
It wasn't handled competently.
Joke's on you, the last season was terrible. Yeah, but I don't feel bad about the last season being terrible because I didn't follow the show for 10 years. I watched the ending, and then I was like, okay. I moved on with my life. I don't know if Daenerys was always headed that way, though. I don't necessarily agree with that, because when she became queen elsewhere, she wasn't like that. She actually took the time to learn how to be a decent ruler, and if she had been corrupted to that extent from the start, she wouldn't have done those things. But my understanding is that in the book, there's a character that's not in the show that would have justified her acting that way. So my guess is that there's content missing from the show that would have made what happened make sense. Like, I've not read the books, so that's just what I've pieced together from talking to people who have read the books. But there's apparently another potential candidate for the throne in the books that's not Jon Snow. I mean,
I abandoned the idea of grabbing a map for this, and I'm looking for...
Oh yeah, I had some ideas I wanted to
landscape.
Give you, and I totally forgot because we got in this conversation. Just from watching the show, Rai, I disagree that she was headed that way, but again, I haven't read the books, so I can't have the same perception of it as you, and you can't have the same perception as me because you know more about the source content than I do. And I know less about the source content than you do. I hadn't... Sorry, I had an idea I wanted to pitch to you.
The only images I can find are... This is absurd. AI-generated landscapes for paid sites that have a watermark on it, so you can't download it for free. So you're going to generate a forest landscape using AI and then put watermarks on that because that's yours.
Yeah,
you put your precious effort and artistic talent into putting prompts in.
I had a suggestion for you because you said you didn't necessarily want to use a map for this.
Yeah.
I had a suggestion that maybe you could do like an extended skill challenge type thing, and maybe there's like you could have like different charts of challenges. So like if they wanted to be stealthy, they could roll against like a chart, like maybe depending on how they try to do
Yeah.
something, like if they're trying to be stealthy, you roll on like the thing, and then it could be like there are guards guarding like a choke point and how do you get past it, or like if they have to get over rough terrain, like something like that where they encounter challenges based
Yeah.
on how they're like interacting with it.
Well, great minds think alike because I already found some rules to use for it, and it's all that stuff. So that's definitely what I'm going to be doing.
Nice. Well, there you
I
go.
just want like a nice landscape picture or something like that to put up.
No, I
Something
know
for
what
them
you
to look at
mean.
while
The
they're
struggle
playing.
is real because I was looking through stock photo sites last night too, and I was having the
Yeah.
same. Rai did say, "Do you need maps?" So I take that to mean that he might be able to
I
hook
don't
you
need
up.
maps at this point. I don't think. Because I've abandoned the idea of using a map. So I don't want to. I don't want to make it because the problem if you run a chase scene with a map is that it could be over too early or over too late.
Why
You know
did
what I mean?
Bird say ew?
It's like you get from one map to another. About the watermarks, the AI.
Oh,
generated
okay,
watermarks.
okay. I wasn't
Have
looking up at
watermark.
the time, so I was just like, we got done
I
talking about
have.
skill challenges, and I look up and see Bard saying ew.
Yeah. Bard is like ew skill challenges. I have absolutely. I'm gonna say this right now. I have absolutely no respect for intellectual property around AI art.
Well, there is no such thing as intellectual property.
Exactly.
There's already been a
There's
precedent set for that.
yeah. There's an emerging body of precedent around that, but uh, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So there's some emerging body of like
Emerging.
legal emerging, yeah, like legal precedents and things like that around AI art, but it's very unclear still, you know.
I think it's less unclear
Like
than
the
people say it is. I think it's just not being enforced.
yeah
People are getting away with
yeah
things right now, and that's gonna end at some point in time.
well like when we did like a professional development thing, there was a story about it's about AI, right? And the line between your work and the AI's work. And there's a story of a guy who entered a art competition and made a piece of AI generated art, and then it won. But then
I
they said,
remember
"Oh, well,
that.
it's AI generated, so you can't win." But then he said, "But I spent 60 hours of work on this piece, like refining prompts and re-refining prompts and things like that." And so finally, I said, "Okay, well, the piece of art can win then, because obvious labor went into making it, right?" But then he tried to sell it, and the same arguments that he used to say why he should win the competition were used to say like, well, but it wasn't you who made it; it was the AI that made it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and ultimately, how I feel is when it comes
Oh,
to things like AI
Rai,
art, is
message
that
me
it's
whenever you want. I will peek at my Discord now if you want me to. Sorry, keep going, Ghost.
yeah, but it's like it's not your work. You know what I mean? You didn't you didn't
Losi Lore, hello, hello. How's it going, my friend? How is your
Hey
holiday?
Loki, what's new?
Um,
Happy New Year.
I think too the major thing to keep in mind is that most AIs that generate images are stealing art from the internet and using them in, and that's the biggest sticking point for me, is that currently AI generated art is art theft. So not only is
Yeah.
it impossible for you to own it, but you are actively stealing from other people in order to create something that is not yours.
Yeah, because it can only take elements from others' work. And the AI people have openly admitted, like Sam Altman, he's come out calling for changes to intellectual property laws because they can't continue to train their AIs and they can't produce things with their AIs that are like commercially
Commercially viable.
You can't sell it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not commercially viable, but commodifiable, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Is maybe that's the word I'm looking for under current intellectual property laws, which is an admission, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, the way that AI goes about making this artwork or making these products is taking from other people's work, and that's not like the people who make the AI are open about that.
Yeah, and they
consume the AI and think that they are producing when in fact they are consuming. They've tricked themselves into thinking that they're producing something, but they are in fact just consuming.
Yeah, and the people who are training the AIs are unrepentant about the fact that they are actively stealing from people. That's the thing that really gets me.
Well, they don't care.
No, that's I know.
That's the tech industry. Like the sorry to anyone who works in the tech industry, but the whole tech industry is built on not on creating things that make production of or the products themselves more efficient, but in fact finding processes that cut costs. And in this case, costs mean what you pay your workers or what you pay for outsiders to make for you, right? Like AI art is number one for that. What makes AI art a commercially viable product is not having to pay an artist to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You can send 50 cents over to, you know, DALL-E or whatever, and have it make a piece of art for you, quote unquote art, versus having to pay an artist like potentially hundreds. And that's where the so-called innovation is found in that whole industry. And when you look at like what the big tech entrepreneurs say about this stuff, like somebody like Elon Musk does not care at all about other people's property, right? Intellectual property or otherwise. Like if somebody, you know, he's shared things on Twitter and not credited the creators, presented it as his own.
Well, and he's very blatant about it that's the thing that gets me
care.
is the people who are very blatant about it.
Yeah.
My goal was 2 chapters a month this year. I'm looking to have 2 done before the 10th at the rate I'm going. So I'm writing that high. Hell yeah! Losi, you're doing great!
For you.
Great way to start off the year. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Just wanted to make sure I got that in before it got pushed up too high. AI art isn't even good. That's true. Like those commercials that Coke made. That were they were so bad. They were so very bad.
Oh man. The oft waited upon annual Coca-Cola Christmas commercial shows how far we've gone as a society. Exiled Faye, I'm sure it's been attempted. I haven't seen that yet. I've seen a couple couple attempts to make movie trailers in the style of certain famous directors. That turns out to be kind of poopy. Pepsi had the funniest chance to do the funniest thing ever, and they didn't. That would have been hilarious. Hilarious.
All right, I've decided that since I can't get very even, I'm not going to be able to get this size of bead throughout. I'm going to slowly make the beads smaller as they go down the dragon. And I'm going to try to do purple ones on this side and blue ones on this side. So I'll start with larger blue ones here and again make them... No one's gonna notice this but me, but I care so much, so I'm doing it.
Yeah, woof. And that Rai is where I think Coke might have covered themselves legally, is because it was AI generated, but then they edited it.
They were still really horrible, though. Like,
editing.
super, super bad.
Oh, it was so bad. I'm not there's no question about the quality of it. But if Pepsi took their commercial, they can claim that there were hundreds of man hours spent on editing the work.
Current cross stitch I'm working on is an Aracanine, is that right? For the husband, since it's his favorite Pokemon. Ah, okay. I don't know Pokemon very well, but that's awesome, Losi. When you're able to, share some pictures. Of course, when it won't spoil the secret. Alright, so this should be a little easier to find beads for now, because we're doing a slightly smaller size.
I am definitely an AI bear, which is interesting because there's some people who I know who are very bullish on AI as well, and it's interesting to talk to them because I don't know, I could be wrong about some of it. I don't think I am, but I could be. I don't know. I don't think it's really going to go anywhere. Personally.
I think it will go somewhere. I think it will go somewhere someday, but I just don't think... I think the things that people want AI to be able to do, it just isn't able to do those things yet. And...
yeah.
You just kind of have to sit back and be patient and wait. In all honesty,
screen resolution was all off. I was like, "Why is it so blurry?" Hey, I got a spirit. Let's check it out. What do we got?
When I missed a small detail in the piece and I noticed it when I finished, I know I'm the only one that's gonna notice, but it still bugs me. Yeah, like, hey. I managed with...
Do you have this one?
I managed with the white beads to keep them mostly uniform, but there's so fewer of these that I think I'm just going to have to live with a little bit of discrepancy. But it makes sense. The tail gets thinner as it goes. The beads can get thinner as well, so...
You ready for the David Attenborough reading of the ham stereo?
Please.
In the Spirit X? Those headphone-looking appendages on the ham stereo aren't just for show. They help dampen loud noises, since the spirit's ears are otherwise especially sensitive to sounds and vibrations. This may once have been an evolutionary trait to warn it of incoming dangers, but in modern times, gifts ham stereo with an excellent sense of a rhythmic timing and an affinity for music. I have found that because of its delicate hearing, it responds most positively to Lo-Fi songs, a spirit after my own heart. There we go. The next one looks like some sort of monkey. A mysterious glitch has been showing up in every game I play. I can't find info on it on any online message boards. Looks like I need to game at my desk.
I think you can game anywhere.
It looks like this is the one because
Share the start of it in the Discord along with the pattern? Heck yeah, Losi.
I gamed by the fire? Oh, okay. Let's game by the fire.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can do the gaming anywhere. Some of them do need to be in specific places, and some of them don't.
Is that new? I feel like I did not have access to all of these functions.
What function? There are some new ones. Sipping is new.
Okay. I haven't played this game in ages.
The sipping is new. The looking is new, and they added some that you can do elsewhere that you couldn't originally do.
Hell yeah. Are you getting my timed messages in your chat?
Yes, I believe I am.
No, just curious. That's kind of lame. I think this is the center. Good luck with your meeting, Exiled Faye.
Good luck, Exiled Faye. Thank you so much for hanging out. We appreciate you.
May your meetings be swift and full of content that could not have been an email.
Oh, that's super cute, Losi Lore.
Let's grab. How do I grab this? Have a grid on this.
Rai Rai and I are swapping some tea right now.
Oh. Gossip. How do you turn the grid off?
That's your second project ever? I can't wait to see what it looks like when it's done, Losi. I'm gonna do 2 more beads here and then go reheat my coffee again. I'm very slow today because I'm being so picky about the beads, but it does look... Like you can see, we started, the tail had no beads at the beginning, and you can see it looks super good. I'm actually really pleased with it. So, and I started using the slightly smaller beads after the, like I did have a little bit of a pattern here, but it looks mostly uniform, and then the slightly smaller beads after the gap, so it's less noticeable. That we are using slightly smaller size beads. I luckily don't need to check my pattern very often here because I've left space for them. Oh no, okay, I'm gonna prepare myself I'm gonna finish this little section and then I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna prepare myself for what is about to occur. I'm also trying, these beads are two-tone, so I'm kind of trying to do purple on the top part and blue on the underside. Because again, I care about stuff that nobody else cares about. But this project is for me. So I can make it how I want it, and that's how I want it. Give me, this is the bead I want. Give it to me. Something you don't want. I hear Ghost Pepper in the kitchen. This is the bead I want. Get on my needle, you jerk. Get on my needle, you jerk is the title of my sex tape. Hell yeah.
Right, is that your best or worst pickup line?
Yeah, that was the question of the day for last night, was give your best or worst pickup line.
It's your character's best or worst. My question of the day now is, what is your best and worst pickup line? You get a free Stream Loots pack if they're the same. No takers yet. My best is also my worst. Is it the pizza one? What was the pizza one again?
Oh, that is actually the end of this section. I thought there was one more.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Right. Dick's pack.
Very good. Want to go out for pizza and fuck?
Like pizza? Well
browse.
Done. Well done.
All right, I'm gonna read Rarai's latest message. Oh my god. Are you kidding me?
Right, you don't have Dixper though. Give you a free Dixper pack. What? If it's used to, that's understandable. Alright. So we've done that. We're moving
Why would you...
Oh God, Jesus. Who? Who did that? Show yourself, coward. Bruce Campbell Soup. Bruce, I take back calling you a coward. Yeah, that's the one.
This is wild, Rai. Wild!
Still don't see the new emotes. Let me try. Here's what I'm gonna do.
Oh, I don't see that either. Yeah. Oh, I do see it in... I never see them in OBS, but it is showing up in my chat bot, on my screen.
Yeah.
It happened, isn't though. Didn't show up. Sometimes they have to be approved by 7TV.
Yeah. So weird. I want to find a new.
I'll be right back, guys.
On Twitch, that's not my OBS. But...
Oh, that makes sense.
Satan Sprite, welcome. Happy New Year.
Hello, Satan Sprite.
Sending me to hell. Sending me in the tunnel to hell. Happy New Year, Satan Sprite. How was your holiday? Yeah, I want to find a way other than using like just my OBS. I've seen some streamers have like a tablet set up on their workspace for oh my god, I can't do barbecue right now. I can't do that. Whoever played that on Dixper, Bruce, wait until I'm playing Monster Hunter or Guild Wars where there actually is a cooking mechanic. But unfortunately, I lack ownership of the tablet. Might be something I'll need to work towards saving up for. 50 more days. What's happening in 50 days, buddy? What's happening, man? Monster Hunter Wilds. Oh my god, is it that soon? Is it really that soon? I'll have to get myself ready. I'll have to get my body ready for Monster Hunter Wilds. What's the release date? That sounds like 50 days. Sounds like March? Which that might be tough. 28th of February. Exams will be over. We'll be heating up towards March break. I'm gonna do something that I hate to do while I'm on break, is open up my work profile on Chrome. I'm not gonna check my work email though. I'm starting to get that feeling, you know, the feeling of like when you're off work and then you're coming back. The Sundays, people call it, when it comes to like weekly. Like you have your weekend off and then...
Like the Sunday blahs?
Well, when you start thinking about work.
Yeah.
Returning to work. And it's not so much blahs.
No, but there's like a Sunday afternoon feeling. I've felt this my whole life. Like Sunday afternoon when you don't have to do something, but it's kind of starting to creep in that very soon you're gonna have to do something.
You're going to have to, yeah. And there's like a little bit of a pull towards like, well, if I just check my email, then maybe I could get a head start on some of this. So I'm trying to resist that. I don't want to look at my work email. But I am looking at my work schedule to see what the 28th looks like. That's a Friday.
I forgot my hand socks in the kitchen.
Fridays are normally slow days for me. So I could do a release thing.
As long as we don't have D&D that night. Fridays are sometimes D&D night.
I could put that off. I could reschedule. Well, I can't reschedule.
Well, I mean, I guess you could just tell the DM you're not available that night.
Yeah.
Satan Sprite said, can't really complain aside from still having this stupid cough from getting pneumonia at the end of October. Well, I hope the cough goes away soon. Pneumonia is one that hangs on for a while.
Yeah, I hope that goes away soon. Jeez. Pneumonia is terrible. In addition to the cough, the only other complaint I have is a bit of difficulty sleeping from kids being home, and also the neighbors being quite loud too. Do you share a wall with them? Like, are you in an apartment or a townhouse or something? That could be tough. Good news is, 2 weeks after the release of Wilds is March break.
Nice.
So I only have to slug it out.
And you get 2 weeks off for March break, don't you?
I got 2 weeks off, yeah. Yes, I do. seconds crafting cam is gonna go away for a second.
Rude.
Well, I gotta use my Discord.
Rude.
And I don't want to show my Discord to everybody.
How dare you use your thing? For something other than my thing. The size I want is starting to run low. For some reason, that one looks really washed out in color.
I think with wilds, I'm gonna go back to my anime weeb dual daggers. I played World. I tried to stay away from it because I did so much dual daggers in Rise. I was thinking, like, this is, you know, a new game. It's a new opportunity to try something new. So I was very careful to never do dual daggers in World. I think it's time to go back to it.
It is time.
It is time. You know, you want to try something new.
Yeah, but you know, you tried something and yeah, and if you're feeling like, you know what, I did really like the daggers, maybe it's time to go back. Yep. Nothing wrong with that. Yep. You don't always have to try something new. You can go back.
It's just the most, like, anime anti-hero. Oh, Rune Wolf has an Optimus Prime for us.
Here we have
Thank you, Optimus Prime.
Ghost and Striker, the ultimate power couple. I am Optimus Prime, and I am always here with you all. Aww.
Thank you, Optimus Prime. Thank you, Rune Wolf.
I didn't get to hear it in the voice, but that's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, the dual daggers is, like, the most openly, like, anime anti-hero. Like, you got these dual daggers, and you sprint around, and you look all edgy, and there's, like, demon mode that you can enter. It's like, oh my god.
So you tried to be less anime, but now you're feeling the call to be more anime.
There's no real such thing as being less anime in Monster Hunter. But
fair.
Yeah. It's a very anime game. Done with this Bionicle trilogy and animated series outline. Nice. You could do the Optimus Prime voice. Amazing, Rai Rai.
I cannot do the Optimus Prime voice myself.
Ryamus Prime. That's amazing.
Alright, I think we're gonna get... We are getting down to the truly thinner beads now, but that's okay because we're getting on towards the end of this side. And we're going to do one more, and then we're going to tie this one off, I think, and then do a bluer strand. Let's see where we land with size and color for what remains. Alright, there we go. Like, on the camera, I doubt you can tell that they get thinner as they go, but the beads at the start are much thicker than the ones at the end. But it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that really overall. Nice. It's taken forever.
That's really cool.
But we're getting there.
I did not know. Did not know that.
And I always have to tie it off when the string is a little bit longer than I normally would, but I'm using this big, long beading needle, and we don't want to play thread chicken with that, so, because it is a pain in the dick to thread. So... Ow. Just jabbed myself with the needle. Good job, me. There we go. Alright. That looks pretty darn good. And now we're going to do the underside here, and I'm going to do bluer beads for that.
What have we got, Rudolph?
I follow the guy who actually did the Optimus Prime voice for the movie on YouTube. He's actually a blind voiceover artist, also known for being a surfer. That's amazing, Satan Sprite. I didn't even know that. He does a lot of movie trailers and commercial voiceovers, as well as voiceovers for a bunch of other stuff. That's so cool!
That was a surprisingly wholesome message from AI Samuel Jackson. It's really cool, Satan Sprite.
I just had to send Rai a hell of a gif. Yeah, 12 out of 10 gif. Like, I'm trying to be vague about what we're talking about, because obviously I don't want this person in Rai's life to overhear, but oh my god, reading that was painful.
I'm looking at the voice actor list for Guild Wars 2, because recently I've been looking into it because so many Critical Role actors did voice acting for Guild Wars 2.
Mm-hmm.
So the voice actor for Demi or Demi Beetlestone, because they pronounce it both ways. Some of the voice actors pronounce it one way and some pronounce it the other way, so it's really unclear how her name is supposed to be pronounced. That was a pretty brutal voice acting performance, and the voice actress who did it is the voice of Cortana in Halo, Zoe in Left 4 Dead, and both Princess Peach and Toad.
Wow.
In the Mario games. I was like, there's no way. She must have really not cared about this voice acting role. I am shocked to learn this.
We're going to start at the opposite end here. The camera is going to be a bit wonky while I get this anchored, so you won't be able to see as well what I'm doing, but I got to make sure the thread doesn't slip right through. Now, what size have we got for these? I think this is going to end up being our biggest size, really.
can share the guy's name? Sure. Alright. So we're done with D&D planning. We're on to working on some homebrew RPG system.
Nice. Kind of trying to gather some similar sized beads together here so that I can just find them very easily when I'm ready.
Pete Gustin. Okay. Pete Gustin. Let's see what we can learn about Pete Gustin. Oh my goodness. He's surfing. Two-time winner of the Outstanding Movie Trailer Voiceover of the Year.
Damn.
Is there more than one person who does movie trailer voices?
Well, yeah, they don't get the same person to do every movie trailer.
It just feels like the same person does every trailer. In a world.
There's more than one movie trailer guy. I thought there was just one movie trailer guy who does all of it, everything.
Because they all sound the same.
They do, but...
They all make the same voice.
They do, but... In a world.
In a world.
I mean, I'm sure he does, but there's probably people that can't afford him. He probably has a price, you know? And there are some people who are like, well, we want the voiceover guy, but we can't afford him, so...
Don LaFontaine is the In a World guy.
In a world.
The voice actor who popularized the catchphrase "In a world where." And apparently there is a movie called In a World.
Like that one may have been a little too big for that spot, but whatever. It's happened now.
Here we go. 2013 American comedy film written, directed, and co-starring and co-produced, by Lake Bell. Film stars Bell as a vocal coach who does voiceovers for film trailers. Okay.
I'm pleased that there is a visual difference between... You might not see it on camera, but there is a visual difference between the purple ones and the blue ones once they're on the canvas. So I'm happy.
Good.
It makes all of the sorting through beads for the last 2 hours worth it, that there's going to be a slight differentiation that only I will really care about.
But you're the crafter, so what you care about matters.
Well, and I am the receiver in this case, too. This is a project for me. So what I want is the most important thing, because I'm the one who's going to be looking at this forever.
Yeah. Just Pepper, you go, Pepper. Fully format the thing that you want to format before copy pasting. You ever do that? You know you're gonna make a whole bunch of like tables or something like that, and you start copy pasting them out before you fully format the first one.
And then I'm like, why did I make all this extra work for myself?
No kidding. Bard, thank you for coming back from your work to tell us that. We love you too, and we appreciate you so much. I had so much fun.
I did too. Last night was
Bard shot last
amazing.
Night.
I can't stress that enough. Like, and I love you as well, Bard. I will give you heart hands in just 1 second. Ooh. When I detangle myself from the thread.
For anybody in chat who missed it, we did a D&D one-shot last night with Bard as the Dungeon Master.
It was her first time DMing.
Yep.
She was amazing. She put up with a lot from us.
Did a great job. It was amazing to see her speed run all of the feelings that D&D DMs have. Rai, you should have seen our group chat leading up to this. Like, people would say stuff, and Bard says, well, rip my plans. R.I.P. to everything I planned. And it's like, yep.
Also, right before we got off the call, she commented about how we talked about doing something for one of the puzzles and then decided to go solve a completely different puzzle. And it's like, yes, this is D&D players. This is how it happens.
It was amazing. She did an amazing job. I highly recommend the VOD. It was streamed on my channel, so you can watch the VOD there for however long it stays, around 60 days or whatever.
Just also want to give a shout out to the touching gloves and Cauliflump's self-parodying his own Foodle voice. Like, top-notch moments from the stream.
Collie parodying his own character's voice was my actual favorite part of last night. Hands down. Everyone did such a good job. Bard did a great job. Carly, for the first time role-playing, did a fantastic job.
Did an amazing job.
Amazing. As Fig playing Mazra. But Cauliflump's parodying his own character's voice was just the best.
Oop. Don't be doing that.
Bard. It's so true.
Okay, I did get the right color, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave that bead on there. Had to check.
I find that, like, obviously when you're a teacher, you choose to get into a career that, like, takes a lot of hard work. You do a lot of work outside of work hours. There's no such thing as an end to work hours, really. But I find that I'm like, dude, this is taking more and more time away from hanging out with friends, things like that. I love breaks like this because I get to, like, live a normal life.
Yeah. For a hot minute.
It's like after this week, it's back to that. Which I'm fine with. I love doing it. I love doing the work. It fills my bucket. But
yeah, but you need break. Like, it's the same with me. I never used to take breaks. I used to just go full tilt, and you just get burnt out.
Yeah.
Like, even if you love doing something, you sometimes need to step away from it. It's just kind of how it goes.
Well, and, like, I know, and I'm grateful for it. Like, I don't take for granted the fact that I get a lot of holidays that people in other professions don't get, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when people talk about, like, well, being a teacher is easy because you get summers off, you actually need that. Like,
yeah,
a person cannot go as mentally full tilt as a teacher does. Like, mentally, emotionally, sometimes physically. Although I would not compare teaching in a classroom to, like, working on an oil rig or something like that.
no, but it's not. You're
still very draining.
Do a lot of walking. You do a lot of running. Like,
yep,
you do a lot.
Yep. And it's like, it's not, you know, working to that level for the amount of time that you have to as a teacher is just not sustainable for a human being. So you do need those breaks sometimes. You don't realize how until you actually start doing the work.
Yeah. Well, and I found too that until I started, like, taking, like, actual week-long breaks from what I do, I didn't realize how much I needed. Until I had downtime, I didn't realize how necessary the downtime was.
Yeah.
So downtime has become very precious to me now because I don't get a lot of it, but I've learned to appreciate what I get from it.
Yeah. And conversely, I also spent time working in an office, as did you. And I found that during the workday, I don't know if you found this, maybe some days yes, some days no, but I found that in an office environment, there's a lot of downtime. Like, too much sometimes.
It depended. For us, it depended because we were a service desk, right? Yeah, so
a service desk.
There was less downtime than there would be in an office where you are assigned tasks that you just have to get through.
Yeah.
But there were days where it was just kind of like, nobody needs anything, so we're all just sitting here getting paid to browse on Google.
Yeah.
And play Sudoku.
Yeah. And then that's too much downtime.
Mm-hmm. Well, and because you can't.
People will find ways to occupy themselves, and for some people, they're like, "That's great. I spend my day, you know, watching sports or, you know, sitting in Twitch streams or something like that."
But it's not real it's not real downtime.
Yeah.
It's not the same as I can go do whatever thing scratches that itch in my brain right now, right? Like.
Yeah. Totally agree.
And so there is a distinction.
So I found when I was working in an office environment, the amount of downtime that I had, you know, and ebb and flow, like everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there'd be a lot, sometimes there'd be a little, but when there was a lot, it was like too much to the point where, in an overall sense, like, working in that kind of environment is like I think, bad for my brain.
It's draining. It's really draining.
Like, it was not stimulating to me at all. And it did not make me feel good about what I was doing.
Yeah.
I took no pride or satisfaction from what I was spending my day doing. So I much prefer this, but then you need the manufactured downtime set aside that most people don't get in their jobs.
Yeah.
I'll go from being slammed literally all day one day to having 30 minutes between calls the next day. Yeah. Sucks because you have to be on a phone waiting for a call the whole time. You never know when one will come in.
Well, and that's the thing is you generally don't know, like, you don't know what kind of day you're going to get. So it's like, oh, I'm feeling really shitty today, but it might be a slow day, which I can easily tackle if, you know, but you won't know until you're in it, right? So it's really like for me, because I am my own boss, you know, if I don't feel good on any given day, I can just be like, well, I will do this easier stuff today, and then tomorrow when I hopefully feel better, I can do the harder stuff for my week and whatnot. But in an office, it's kind of, especially like a call center, it's kind of the demands of the moment, and you don't necessarily know what kind of day you're going to get, and that can be stressful too. Like,
Bard, I feel like that's the model that most workplaces need to go towards, because the model of you need to be working for a set number of hours is actually like horribly inefficient for business. Like, if you think about a person having to be in an office burning this much time and the amount of downtime they have, are they actually working efficiently? Like, you know, an office environment is overpaying for labor when there's no labor being performed. And so it makes more sense to give like project-based, like you said, a production-based job or project-based job. Fortunately, I did a bunch of reading on this. Unfortunately, like during the pandemic, I read all about this, but most, like, when people were talking about like going back into the office, like back to office mandates and things like that, where they were clawing back on the work from home thing, it's actually because of a lack of management talent. Like, managers they don't have the competency to manage people in a project-based fashion, as opposed to, like, you come into an office, you sit down at an office chair in a cubicle for X number of hours, and I physically walk around and look over your shoulder and look at what you're doing. Like, that management approach, that like really old school management approach, is horribly ineffective and inefficient. And once again, enterprises, like businesses, are overpaying their managers too, essentially, for like what their effect on actual production is. But it's the only way they know how. Which is how we're doing it
also,
which is like the least efficient way to do it.
Right, I know that what I do isn't exactly the same as what you're going to be looking to do, but if you have any questions about how I like self-manage my schedule and how I organize things, I'm always happy to talk about that kind of stuff. My method might not work for you, but knowing what I do might give you a baseline of jumping off from if you have any questions about that kind of stuff. Because I work for myself, but I treat my writing as a job. So I consider myself to have office hours. I consider myself to have a start and end time to my day. I'm trying to get more in the habit of the end time. Ghost can tell you I'm not very good about the ending my work day.
Yep. Starting your workday is easy.
Not always, but ending it is much harder.
It's hard. Yeah, well, ending work from home was more kind of like what you're getting at there, right? It's more a way for lower management and middle management to do some performative management, right? Like I know Mr. Roboto, he used to work in Japan, and there's a culture in Japan, which he was telling me about. He used to work in an office environment in Japan, and it would be like an arms race between employees to be the last person to go home. So you're staying at the office for as long as possible as like a performative showing that like I'm the hardest worker here because I'm staying. They're not working.
No, and they're like falling asleep at their desk and stuff.
Yeah, they'll be falling asleep at the desk, and that would be viewed in that work culture, that unique work culture that Japanese office work has. It's viewed as a good thing if you're falling asleep at your desk because you must be working so hard that you're tiring yourself out. So sleeping on the job is actually viewed as like a good thing, and there's no way that's sustainable. There's no way that's efficient. That's not good for the workers. That's not good for the shareholders, for the business itself. Like that's crazy.
Bard, I know exactly what you're saying too, because there's so many days where, like, when I get my bad cramps, where I'm so grateful that, like, I can just adjust my schedule. If I suddenly need a day off, it's a little bit harder with having a regular stream schedule, because I do feel like I sometimes have to let people down by shuffling a stream or canceling a stream. But it is a huge relief to be able to say, okay, well, I need this day to relax. Not relax, but I need this day to rest. I need this day to get through the pain, and then I can just do, I can compress my schedule, or I can drop this task for this week, or whatever I need to do in order to take care of myself, but not necessarily. I do lose some production time, but I don't, I can manage it, and it's a huge relief to not have to involve other people in that decision-making process, or to have to force myself to work through the worst of the pain, right?
Yeah.
And I know that is a privilege that I have, and I feel like everybody should have that privilege, even if they have a boss, but I know that that's not how the world works either. That too, yeah. I have I have days where I'm really slow. Like, Ghost will come home sometimes and he'll be like, how's your day going? And I'll be like, oh, I'm just really slow today. Like, my tasks are getting done and I'm managing, but I just feel like a snail today. But it's okay if that happens, because the only person it affects is me. Theoretically, if I worked in an office, it should still be okay, but I know that's not how it works in practice. So we are reaching the end of the blue here. So we've got purple on the outside and blue on the inside. Now we just have to go swing back and finish this last little bit of purple.
Yeah, and Bard, that's once again just another example of, like, mediocre management capabilities, right? Like, if as an organization you have really high quality hiring practices and you hire people who are capable professionals, assign them projects, say, like, this is here's the resources we have, this is what we want to turn those resources into, you go ahead and do it, this is when the deadline is, and they're capable of, like, taking that and doing it, then management shouldn't care if you take restroom breaks or coffee breaks or things like that, right?
Yeah,
it requires strong hiring practices up front. Right?
Let people do the work that you've hired them to do. You don't have to look over their shoulder. Yeah.
If you hired somebody, it's because ostensibly you believe in them. right? So like show some faith in them, you know? That's what I think.
Rai Rai
That's
said
something.
Matt Mercer and Marisha Ray lost their home in the LA fire, but Omar is safe. That's their dog. That's
Mm,
glad to hear that they're safe, but that seriously sucks. I didn't realize there was a fire
shoot.
in LA.
There is, yeah. There's a big one.
I feel the cramps thing. I had days in high school where I would get to class within the first few minutes, would use the washroom, and class would be done, and either switching or about to switch by the time yeah. I listen. High school and cramps was also. I had a really horrible experience where I tried to go home one day because the cramps were really bad, and they wouldn't send me home, and it was a pep rally day. So the band director forced us to get up on chairs and dance while we were playing, and in between each song, I would crouch down because I was just in horrible pain. And then the teacher whose class that I left to go to the nurse to try and go home made a bunch of snide comments for weeks afterward about being sick and missing his class. Not directly to me, but like in my hearing about me being, about kids being, pretending to be sick and then dancing on the chairs during pep rallies. And it's like, I was forced to do that. It was a horrible experience. I was forced to do that, and my teacher degraded me in my hearing for weeks afterward. I never confronted him about it, but it like the older I get, the more I'm like, that was bullshit. That guy was an asshole.
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty bad.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail your train of thought there. Just wanted to catch up on chat. I also think that because Bard pointed out that she works better on like when she can switch between tasks. I think that it's
Yeah.
important to, you know, to let people work in the way that, because for me, it's been all about finding the best practices that suit my brain, right? To keep me into, you know, keep me invested in my work and keep me on track. Like, I've had to learn all the brain hacks that allow me to do that, right? And I have the privilege of being able to do that, but people should be able to do that in an office space too, because like you said, they're just spending a ton of wasted money on productivity that isn't actually being productive. I'm gonna tie this off and switch. Back to the purple.
Yeah, and that's where like a project based way of organizing work is really the way to go. I think is like, you know, here's what we need done. Take as many bathroom breaks during the day, or go and do your laundry.
Well, and this whole idea of like
you want, and as long as it gets done. And if it doesn't get done, you're held accountable for it, right? And it's like
this idea of working at a call center and everything being time based, and you have this much time to wrap up each ticket, and whoever came up with that was a dumbass, because some issues take longer to resolve, and having everything being on a time and having everything be metrics based, like all that does is create an environment of stress. It's not actually forcing, like, they think they're forcing their workers to work to their top productivity, but all they're doing is stressing people out.
No, performance metrics. I think we're starting to come around to it, but performance metrics, I would my hot take is that they're generally extremely ineffective.
Oh, for sure. And they're total bullshit, because you're basically trying to turn the workers against each other, right? To get the top rating, because they assume that people competing against each other will work to their highest, like, peak efficiency or whatever, but people are going to cut corners to hit the metrics then.
Yep.
Because they have to.
It's full of malincentives, right? Like, you're incentivizing the wrong kind of work and the wrong kind of behavior. and you're not accomplishing the goal you're supposed to, right? Like, we see this a lot in the British and the American education system, where they have actually, like, not great training standards. Let's say that. That doesn't mean that there aren't absolutely fantastic school teachers in Britain or the United States, but the training programs to train and certify teachers are not super high quality, and they're not highly regulated. Like in America, if you have a
I need
university
12 more
degree
of these.
or time in the military, you can be certified to be a teacher after a few weeks course, right? In Canada, it takes you a university degree plus 2 years, depending on which province you're in, right? But all the provinces have probably a similar kind of thing, right? And then what happens is you go out into the workplace and you have all of these school teachers who are of highly varying quality because the training is so perfunctory. And so you'll have absolutely fantastic school teachers, and then you'll have really, really poor school teachers, some of whom it's not their fault because they never received like comprehensive training for it. And then, you know, the school districts and things like that, and the political leadership, they say, oh my goodness, we have all these ineffective and not very well trained teachers. What do we do with that? Well, we'll put in all sorts of performance metrics, and in the UK, you can have your pay frozen from one year to the next if 80% of your class does not improve by a letter grade throughout the year. No exceptions for if your class is like full of A students and there's no letter grade above A. That's too bad. You don't get your pay rise because they didn't make a letter grade of progress, right? That's literally baked into the system there. So you can have your pay frozen for that. You can have your pay frozen if you don't do all sorts of paperwork for the government inspector. And there's a lot of like really, really onerous paperwork that you have to do as a teacher in Britain. Like super, most of your time is actually spent doing compliance paperwork for Ofsted, the office for that investigates schools and education, right? I would say like 70% of my time as a teacher outside of the class was on that. I did not plan a single lesson when I taught in Britain. I didn't plan a single one. Those were all planned and canned for me. I spent all my time doing compliance paperwork. You can have your pay frozen if there are too many complaints about you by parents. You can have your pay frozen if you don't spend what's called the pupil premium, which is stuff to help disadvantaged students in your classroom, which I think is a great thing. But it was once again another onerous make work kind of paperwork thing. You can have your pay frozen if on teacher rating sites like Rate My Teacher, the students say too many bad things about you. So like Rate My Teacher, you have a 5-star rating. If you're below 4 stars, then you can have your pay frozen, which is absolutely absurd because Rate My Teacher is just students going on there and slagging off teachers that they have a beef against. So it was crazy. And the answer to all of that is like have better training for certification and have better hiring practices, and then trust, right? Trust in professional judgment and professional autonomy. And I think that should be across the board. Like, I speak with experience in one industry, which is education, but I think that should be across the board in all workplaces, right? Is have really good training, really good hiring practices. Sometimes even acknowledge that it's, you know, what it is that you want to hire. Like my principal here who hired me, he's told me over and over and over again, especially like as a school, we hire a lot of young teachers and then kind of shape them into the kind of teachers we want to be. And his whole thing that he always said was like, well, I just want to hire somebody who's a good person, and then we can worry about making you a good teacher later, right? Like on the job training and on the job professional development is really important as well. And if you don't do that, you mal-incentivize, like you were saying, Sage, right? Like when I worked in the UK, teachers passed students on and gave them inflated marks so that they wouldn't get their pay frozen. And now it's the
well, and
next
then
year's
you're just
who has to pay for
failing. You're just failing your
And then you're failing
pupils
the
at
kid.
that point, because
Yeah.
you're sending
you're
them
failing
out
the
into the
pupils.
world when they're not
Yeah.
prepared to be out in the world.
Oh yeah, I had senior students who could barely read, who had marks in previous years that were like A plus. You know, like A plus equivalent, like in the 90th percentile, and they can barely read. Like I kid you not, right? And that's because teachers looked out for themselves. Teachers who were younger in their lives looked out for themselves. I don't entirely blame them. It's like, well, I've got a family to feed. I've got to put a roof over my head. I can't afford.
Well, and they've
have
grown
my pay
up
frozen
being
because this
trained
kid
to that
isn't
environment,
learning.
right?
Yeah, yeah, isn't learning at the same pace as the government says they should learn, which is really unfair to the student. And and there are teachers that I worked with in the UK who were extremely bitter towards their students because their kid, a kid being, take a class of 20, 80% of 20 is what? 16 students, right? So if you have a class of 20, you can not afford to have 4 students who decide, well, I don't want to do my homework, right? So you would have teachers with classes with like 5 or 6 students who are like, I don't want to do my homework. I don't care what mark I get. That's not my problem. And like kids would know this is the system. They'd look their teacher in the face and be like, that's not my problem, that's your problem. And so, like, of course, you're going to have teachers who are really bitter and jaded towards their students. And, I couldn't stand that.
All right, I have picked out the beads that we're going to use. I found enough beads